What's the verse number today? 200 oh, it's a new
33,
chapter.
20.33.
Yeah. So when he started rubbing the remnants on the body, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Hey, what is this? You have spoiled your caste. You have become chuta." He says, "This is the perfection of my life. Your caste is ruined. You have become contaminated by touching my remnants." That is what Lord says. Now let us see. 32nd verse, 20th chapter. बोलिते प्रभुर हैला ईश्वर आवेश दंत कडमड करी बलये विशेष. As the Lord spoke, he became absorbed in the mood of the Supreme Controller. Grinding his teeth, he spoke with great resolve. Sannyasi Prakashananda Vashaye Kashite More Khanda Khanda Beta Kare Bhagamate. A sannyasi named Prakashananda lives in Kashi. That fellow enjoys cutting me to pieces. The Mayavadi sannyasi of Kashi considered this material world is false. There is no variety in Vaikuntha. The varieties found in this world are false. The living entities have no eternal form, and out of illusion, the Supreme Brahman imagines that he has taken the form of the living entities. When this illusion is removed, the impersonal Brahman remains. Now see, Prakashananda Saraswati, the Mayavadi sannyasis, the sannyasis of Kashi, they used to think like this: the Supreme Lord has no spiritual form, because all forms within this world are illusory. Impersonal Brahman is eternally formless. The names, forms, qualities, associates, characteristics, pastimes of the Supreme Lord are the result of vivarta or illusion. Brahma vivarta philosophy is there, where vivarta here refers to Brahma vivarta, refers to there is no form for Lord. The names, so the vivarta also means illusion, born of material conception, which in English is called anthropomorphism. So this is known as illusion. Prabhupada in many places mentions this philosophy. There is no worshipable Supreme Person in the form of the Supreme Lord. The principles of service and object of service are found only in this material concept contest. The conception that the Satchidananda personality is different from impersonal Brahman is born of vivarta, illusion. So this is only because of illusion we think that Lord's form is the impersonal Brahman are different. Worship is temporary. To consider the Supreme Personality of Godhead as impersonal is freedom from ignorance. These are the ideas of the impersonalists. Being cheated from spiritual life, the sannyasis of Kashi tried to destroy the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord by cutting it to pieces. The Mayavadi sannyasi named Prakashananda was the leader of such sannyasis. And he became prominent among all the sannyasis during the time of Mahaprabhu. Because of the prominence of envy in this material world, the main occupation of impersonalism is to attack the concept of eternal variegatedness. This was not the desire of Gaur Sundar. So Gaur Sundar is now speaking about Prakashananda Saraswati. Why is he speaking now? What is the contest? Now here, Murari Gupta is showing great devotion towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but still he is speaking about Prakashananda Saraswati. So let us see why the topic of Prakashananda Saraswati, the Mayava Siddhanta, how the Prakashananda Saraswati, who is the leader of the Mayava Sannyasa, and all spoken. Let us see. Padaya Vedanta, Mura Vigraha na mane. He teaches Vedanta, but he doesn't accept my form. Kushta Karailu, Ange Tabu Nahi Jane, I gave him leprosy. But yet he still does not understand. Lord says, I gave him enough punishment, but still he doesn't understand. He is not accepting my form. He's cutting me to pieces. Since it is possible to derive various meanings from the Vedic statements, Persons of a different taste find the various statements of Vedas contradictory because of their own narrow-mindedness. So when in the Vedas it is said, Lord is Nirakar. Nirakar here refers to Lord has no meti takar like us. Our body is made up of Malamutra, but Lord's body is completely spiritual, Sachidananda. So when Lord appears in this material world, it is not that he takes the shelter of the three modes of material nature and accepts Prakriti as the body. No, Lord's body is beyond Prakriti. In fact, Lord is the superintendent of the Prakriti. It is he who governs Prakriti. It is not that he comes in the clutches of Prakriti. Sri Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasadeva compiled the Badarayana Sutras. These sutras became distinguished from the other five philosophies of India and became renowned as the philosophy of Vedanta. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on these Vedanta sutras. The Srimad Bhagavatam declares that the absolute truth, known as Bhagavan, is identified as Brahman and Paramatma, words appropriate for two particular classes of men. So let us see, what were the five other philosophies which were very much prevalent? That were Nyaya, Vaishashika, then Sankhya, then came Yoga, Sankhya, Yoga. That is Patanjali Yoga. Patanjali was the founder of that yoga system, Ashtanga Yoga. Then came Uttar Vimamsa, Karma Mimamsa. Then came Uttar Vimamsa. Uttar Vimamsa was given by Badarayana. So other first five were actually atheistic because Nyaya, Vaishashika, they believe in who is the cause for this whole material world. That is how these five philosophies give all the answers except Lord. That is why they are known as atheistic philosophy. Nyaya speaks about the molecules being the cause of this creation. Vaishashika speaks about the molecules being the cause of the creation. Then Sankhya speaks about the Prakriti being the cause of the creation. And then Yoga, Patanjali Yoga, speaks about the imaginary Paramatma being the cause of the creation. And then Karma Mimamsa speaks about the karmas being the cause of the creation. Then came the slightly theistic philosophy. This is also actually atheistic only because incomplete whole about the Supreme Lord has not been mentioned. Somewhere about Brahman, the impersonal Brahman, because Uttar Vimamsa speaks about the impersonal Brahman. Still, the personality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has not been told in the Uttar Vimamsa. That is why after writing even Uttar Vimamsa and writing about the Vedas, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is not happy. That is why he gives a natural commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam, where very clearly it has been said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Ketecham sakalapumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the Supreme Person. Who is the cause of all the causes? Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vikranadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So all these five atheistic philosophies were somewhere smashed by Uttar Vimamsa, but again the natural commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam proves to be the perfect philosophy. So in this way, the Srimad Bhagavatam declares that the absolute truth known as Bhagavan is identified as Brahman and Paramatma, words appropriate for two classes of men, that is Gyanis and the Yogis. Although addressed by three different names, this object is actually one and without second. Those who disregard, they are Vidvad Rodhi. The conventional meaning of the words according to enlightened persons and take shelter of Agyana Rudhi. They disregard. Those who disregard Vidvad Rudhi. Vidvad means knowledgeable, intellectual path. But they are disregarding this. And they take to Agyana Rudhi. That means the conventional meaning according to the unenlightened persons. Observe that the Supreme Lord is separate from Brahman and Paramatma. Now, three features of Lord cannot be separated from the absolute whole. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Advaitam, he is one without the second. So, Brahman, Paramatma, Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam jnanamattivayam. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti shaptate. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. These three are that one person. That is Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. Achyutam, Advaitam. There is no difference in his body and he himself. These are the three features. That is why Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidas. This is the Tattva. Tat Tattva Vidas. There is Tattva Vida means the knower of the truth. And who is the knower of the truth? Vidvat Rudi. They are the knower of the truth. And if somebody goes against this understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, they are one and the same. If somebody goes against it, they are known as Agyana Rudi. To establish a philosophy that is more or less impersonalistic, this class of commentators on the Brahma Sutra explain Vedanta in a way that appeals to the Buddhists and are thus simply frustrated by the Buddhist argument. Because Lord Buddha, when he appears, he just keeps quiet. When the question asked was, is there God? He keeps quiet because till now he said Vedas are wrong because on the name of Vedas, the animals used to be cut, slaughtered. So to stop this indiscriminate slaughtering of the animals and to stop the indiscriminate enjoyment of the senses, just he told Vedas are wrong. And if he says God is there, then Vedas should be truth because the Vedas are the words of Lord. So then he kept quiet when the question was asked. So some part of the Buddhists, they believe in God, and some part of the Buddhists, they don't believe in God. So Shunyavad means everything is zero after death. Whatever you see is there. After that, everything is zero. Being advanced in the process of material conceptions, such covered Buddhist Vedantists became entangled in the false argument of this world of enjoyment. As a result, they try to maintain their supremacy and authority by preaching a philosophy that is different from that of the genuine Srimad Bhagavatam. So there is no life after that. There is no karmic reactions. But ahimsa parodharma. Why then ahimsa parodharma? Do hinsa then. The do hinsa then pays the karmic reactions. Why ahimsa parodharma? Just on the material platform, there is some compassion which is shown. But real compassion lies in not to kill the animals indiscriminately so that we don't allow the animals to stop their natural transmigration in the birth and death cycle. That is the whole purpose of a Vaishnava saying, do not cut animals. Simple. Why that do not cut animals? So that the natural transmigration in the birth and death cycle will not be stopped. We are not having any compassion on the bodily platform. Vaishnavas have the compassion on the spiritual platform. Envy of the Supreme Lord, denial of the Supreme Lord's form, and striking the Supreme Lord's body with a trident are other names for the offenses they accumulate. While trying to prove that the philosophy of impersonalism is the purport of Vedanta by rejecting the philosophies of Dvaita, monism and dualism, Shuddha Advaita, purified monism, then with Vishishta Advaita, specific monism, Shuddha Advaita, purified dualism that are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the four Vaishnava philosophies of Vaishnava Siddhanta, which has been established, or I can say re-established by our acharyas. Re-established. It's not that Ramanujacharya established Vishishtadvaita. It has been there, but he put it in a perfect order of Vishishtadvaita. Because Sri Vaishnava philosophy is based on Vishishtadvaita. But that Vishishtadvaita was nicely presented by Sripad Ramanujacharya. In the same way, Madhvacharya. Madhva philosophy is based on Shuddhadvaita. Shuddhadvaita. And then we have Nimbarakacharya, whose philosophy is based on Dvaita Advaita. Then we have Vishishta Advaita. Then we have Shuddha Advaita, which has been presented very nicely by Vallabhacharya. Or you can say Vishnu Swami, who is the head before even Vallabhacharya. It is more futile to endeavor us to separate a spiritual body from the owner of the body. That is why the chief sannyasi of Kashi, Prakashananda, developed leprosy throughout his perishable body. If materially learned people attack the spiritual body of the Lord, they will develop leprosy in both their gross and subtle bodies. But afterwards, you can see how Prakashananda Saraswati became a great Vaishnava. Who is he? He's actually Sri Vaishnava. He is uncle of Gopala Bhatta Goswami, Prakashananda Saraswati. But still he's speaking something wrong. But after that, you can see that how Prakashananda Saraswati became a very great disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he developed a wrong philosophy. If materially learned people attack the spiritual body of the Lord, they will develop a leprosy in both their gross and subtle bodies. Since such lepers do not accept the form of the Supreme Lord, they are forced to enjoy the fruits of such an offense. This universe is factual. The foolishness and the arrogance of those who reject this without considering the temporary nature of the living entity's body in this material world, and who then declare that this material world manifested by the Lord's external energy is false, and the bodies of the living entities of this world are perishable, and false rather than perishable, and true fall in the category of offense. So let us see this line again. So the foolishness and the arrogance of those people, what they are doing, they reject. What they are rejecting? They are rejecting the material world itself. They consider this material world is only false. No, the material world is temporary. So what they declare, this material world is false. That is what they declare. But it's actually temporary. And the living entity's body, they are actually perishable and false. Rather than perishable and true, actually it is perishable and true. The body is not false. The reflection again is not false. The 24 elements combination is not false. It is true, but it is perishable. So we should understand what we see in the mirror is the combination of 24 elements. Like we have a pack of cards. A child makes a nice castle out of the pack of cards. Afterwards, somebody comes in on and disturbs the whole thing. So what happened? The pack of cards are not false. That structure or the form given by the pack of cards is false. So the form is temporary. It's also not false. It is temporary. So the form was not false. It is temporary. And after some time, it dismantled. In the same way, the body is not false, but it is perishable. Innumerable universes are simply the manifestation of Lord's external energy. Since the material time factor functions within the external energy, foolish people take shelter of ignorance that is attained by material endeavor. These Mayavadis do not accept the bodies of the material world to be the products of Lord's external energy. Rather, they display a weakness in their flow of thought by accepting the eternal form of the Lord as a product of matter. Now, the matter has been given by Lord. They don't accept that. Again, the bodies, which is given by Lord's external energy, is not accepted by them. In fact, they think even Lord's body is matter. The internal energy of the Lord always fully preserves the spiritual nature and remains eternally blissful. Attacking spiritual variegatedness with a mentality based on denial of material variegatedness is like Ravana's futile endeavor to kidnap Maya Sita. So, spiritual variegatedness with a mentality based on denial of material variegatedness. So, do not talk. So they deny the material variegatedness. Just see, when they are denying the material variegatedness, they are also denying the variegatedness of the spirituality. There is so much of variety in the spiritual world. In the same way, there is so much of variety in this material world. They are just the reflections. So reflections are not false. It is temporary. The Mayavadis are non-devotees and offenders in all respects. Their journey on the path of devotional service is duplicitous and ends in offense. So what they do not accept Lord. They'll speak so many things. They will speak as if they are big bhaktas. They will talk very sahajiya bhavas. They will talk. Bhagavan to hai. Then why are not worshipping? When it comes to worship, they don't accept that. Why don't you wake up early in the morning? Why don't you do the Mangalarti? Why don't you feed Lord? At that time, they will be very, very reluctant to do that. But they take a pride. They take a pride that we are great bhaktas. It doesn't work. Ananta Brahmanda, last verse. Ananta Brahmanda moreye angete vaishe taha mithya balabeta kemane sahase. Unlimited universes are present within my body. So how does that fellow dare to claim my body to be false? So Lord is telling all these things to Murari Gupta, and he says, I'm telling you the truth because you are my servant. Anyone who does not accept my form is completely vanquished. Now, Lord is telling this to Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta is incarnation of Hanuman. That is why somebody is a bhakta of Hanuman and chants Hanuman Chalisa, but does not accept Prabhu Ram, doesn't work. Hanuman loves if you chant Lord's name. Many people, they chant Hanuman Chalisa, but they will not chant Lord's name. But in Hanuman Chalisa, very nicely it has been written, if you don't chant Lord's name, Hanuman will never be happy. So one should understand, Lord is a person. So that is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking the personal aspect to Murari Gupta. Stop here. Any questions you can ask. So, okay. Mancha kalpatarubhescha kripasindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vaishnav ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.